lovely people, and welcome to the Wynn Fitness Club on 1519 Dundas Street East in Mississauga. You are in for a treat today because what's following is an interview and a workout session with, check this out, a bikini fitness model, one brilliant young lady who works here as a personal trainer. So happy to have her as a part of the Wynn team, and so happy to spend some time with her today. Also, very excited to show you around. Wynn Fitness Club in Mississauga is one fantastic facility offering so much space with a lot of natural light. It offers different areas for working out, from a free weights area, cardio theater, gym with all coolest resistance training equipment, to studios for popular group fitness classes, sessions with personal trainers, and even a ladies-only gym for those who prefer more privacy. A place to stretch, meditate, and just relax is included with lovely shower cabins and a steam room to end any workout the best way. At this location, you can also find special classes like the Elite Martial Arts Krav Maga class and then the Twist Athlete Development Program as well. The amazing club comes with some pretty amazing people. It's my absolute pleasure to meet in person one of our personal trainers, National Academy of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer, Joanna Dziedzic. Such pleasure to meet you.
Nice meeting you too.
You are a Canadian Bodybuilding Federation national level bikini competitor, correct?
Yes, I am.
And for what I was able to track, your first competition was Kelowna Classic in 2016,
yes.
And you were an overall bikini winner there, right?
Yes, I won first place in my class F and also overall. In terms of competition, I've only done Kelowna and BC Cup, and when it comes to model searches, I've done Muscle Insider as well as Fitness Star. I won each of those competitions, and when it comes to the fitness industry, it is mostly about diet and training and how you can sculpt your body into basically an art form as I see it. So there's many different categories depending on your muscularity and your definition, body fat percentage, and et cetera, et cetera.
While I was researching on this topic, I've discovered some pretty particular competition rules. So, for example, competitors must wear high heels with specific sole thickness. Then competitor must not wear glasses.
No, they can't. It would definitely have a glare in front of the audience and the judges, right?
So was it fun for you, or was it hard for you to follow all these rules?
No, it was perfectly fine. I had Suit Lady as my bikini creator, so she already knows all of the regulations and she makes sure that she falls under them. And all I had to do was pick the fun things like the color and the sparkle and the connectors.
And I also read, I mean, obviously you have to come in a certain way to the stage and then strike a pose and all that.
Right.
How was that for you?
Yeah, it was really challenging just because probably posing was my least favorite part of the entire competition. I would have to do an hour every day. So even after my work, my classes, my commuting, I would go to the gym after hours because I worked at Gold's, and I would just pose and pose and pose, go over my routine again. And even those are regulated as well. You have to have certain poses and certain angles, and obviously those angles have to highlight your best features and kind of downplay your weaknesses.
Could you show us some of the poses?
Yes, of course.
Just curious, do you get a lot of questions like, how can I get this strong and how can I look like you?
I usually get how to build glutes. That is really hard to attain just because we're usually sitting on our butts all day if we're students or office workers. So I would recommend different forms of exercises that really isolate the glutes. Not so much squats, just because it's a misconception that builds the glutes, right?
Oh,
but
really?
Actually it's more of the quads, and especially a lot of people don't actually have the right form.
Oh, okay.
So I really like to research, and I really follow Brett Contreras. He's a doctorate in muscle hypertrophy, and he really emphasizes the glute building. And I find that hip thrusts or glute bridges and even isolation exercises like glute ham raises or even kickbacks are more effective at activating the glutes. Another important criteria is to make sure you have enough stress on that muscle that you want to build, just because if you don't put enough stress, there's no reason for that muscle to adapt and grow, right? So if you only train it once a week or not even that intensely, then there's no point for it to adapt to that stress. So I would recommend at least twice a week of leg day or at least glute focus day, and try to always push past your limits that you previously achieved.
So do you mind if you take me through some of the exercises and then we just keep talking between the sets?
Yes, of course.
Perfect, thank you. I must know, were you always involved in sports activity, or was there like a moment when you took up on training seriously, and when was the moment when you decided to, you know, try competing?
Well, I've always been pretty active growing up. I've been to volleyball, basketball, rugby was probably my biggest, then into boxing. And once when I went to boxing, I talked to a personal trainer there. He was also a bodybuilder and competitor. And he mentioned, you know, competition in my future, but I was only 16 at the time. I thought he was crazy. Like, me on stage in a bikini, like, are you hitting on me? Or this is kind of weird. And then he showed me how to use the machines, right? I just wanted to understand how to be safe and be effective every time I came to the gym.
Which is important.
Exactly. So I hired him for a few sessions just so I was well aware of how to use them. And from there, I just really, really enjoyed going to the gym. It was my escape and my happiness. So I would just try to go almost every day. And then once I went to Vancouver, I was hired at Gold's Gym. And that's where I really became myself and understood, hey, fitness is actually my thing, it's my passion. I talked to personal trainers there, members, fitness managers, and they were mentioning, why don't you become a certified personal trainer or go into kinesiology? So that's where I started to really think and actually transferred my entire faculty over to kinesiology. And from then on, I started to really start researching on bikini competitions because it was always in the back of my mind ever since that comment when I was 16. And then after, I was just like, you know what? Any time is a good time. There's no start date that I should really set it on, right?
So for anything,
exactly,
like that, right?
Exactly. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it, and I just went in the competition thinking, you know, let's see from here what goes on. I won overall, so I was just like, might as well keep going, right?
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to take the year off though after that, because bikini competitions are very draining, any competition in general, right? So definitely a year off to really grow and just get healthy. Still did some model searches here and there, but for the most part, I'm really ready for next year's national competition.
Oh, great. So that's your next plan?
Yes. It's a mindset that you have to get into. There are no excuses accepted when you are prepping for a competition, right? It's not like, I don't feel like it, or I'm sick, or I have an exam, etc., etc. It's, you get up, you do the work, you follow the diets, etc., and you keep training and posing until show day. It's all or nothing mindset is extreme sport. A lot of people cannot do it just because you have to be slightly crazy, to be honest, in order to put your body through that, to like initially and willingly want to be hungry all the time, train when you're really, really sore and hurt, or train when you just really don't want to, you're exhausted, right? And from there, it's like with the diet, with being so low like calorie in general, so tired and like in pain most of the time just because of, you know, soreness or lack of sleep, etc. And plus still doing your life, you're still going to work, you're still having a social life, you're still going to school. It's a lot to juggle, but it definitely makes you stronger in the end, and that's kind of why I still want to do it. I just realized that I really built my character, because diamonds are made under pressure. So I found that it was really rewarding experience after that.
It is the mental game.
It is. It definitely is.
When the struggle hits, during the training days, and I'm assuming is it every day, right?
Not every day. You have your good days and your bad days, but definitely once you hit the bad days, it's
Where's the motivation?
Yes, there is no motivation, just because motivation comes and goes, right? My secret is basically making it a habit. I get my butt into the gym regardless of how I'm feeling, what is happening in my day, of anything, okay? I just make sure I'm here and I do the best of my ability.
That's actually very good advice. What motivates you really to also train other people? That's something else, right?
What motivates me is definitely seeing how grateful and happy they are with seeing the results. I specifically like to train women just because they're most comfortable with me, and that's the cards I was played. I was always given women as my clients, and just seeing the satisfaction that I was able to help them and kind of change their mentality in terms of training, in terms of diet. That's really what pushes me to be a better trainer.
Okay, Joanna, so how are other aspects of being fit are important to you, like diet, like rest, like sleep, and how do you manage with your schedule, you know?
Well, I find the most important part is diet. I feel that if your diet doesn't reflect your goals, you will never achieve them. I keep telling my clients I could train you for hours and hours and hours, but if you don't try to maintain a healthy nutrition, then you're never gonna see results. What I personally do is count my macronutrients, meaning protein, fats, and carbs. There's a certain amount or percentage that you wanna hit per day for your own physiology, your body, your gender, etc., etc. And we also want to make sure that we're feeding our body at least 80 to 90% of whole natural foods, right? So that way there's no exception of you having a nutritional deficiency with micronutrients like vitamins or minerals, and you have your fiber at the end of the day.
So it's important to be mindful of the source of the food and definitely organize yourself and plan the meals.
Yes,
right?
It's definitely tedious and takes a lot of time sometimes, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be able to tell, okay, this plate that I see right here is, you know, around this much protein, this much fat, this much carbs, and you'll be able to have a more flexible approach and not be too detail oriented.
Right. Clearly, fitness is your number one passion, we can say that, but I wanted to ask you what else Joanna enjoys in life.
Well, if it's not fitness oriented, that's a hard question, because definitely when I was in Vancouver, hiking, kayaking.
So you lived in Vancouver?
Yes, I lived in Vancouver for the past 4 years. I was studying kinesiology at UBC. So my biggest aspect would be going out with my friends, exploring the mountains, maybe even going to different coffee shops, exploring, just seeing the different aspects of Vancouver that it had to offer. I also like just to go around and just see where the road takes us. And meeting new people is definitely one of my biggest things.
So one last question for people who are watching, listening to your story, they find it inspiring and they're maybe planning some of the, you know, similar quests of their own. So what would be your message to those people?
I would definitely say set a specific goal, just because a lot of people want to be like, I want to lose weight, or I want to gain muscle, or I just want to be fit. That could fall under a lot of criteria, right? But the more specific you make it, the more attainable it is, just because you can see it, right? You want to imagine being at that certain number or weight or what have you, or just a feeling, right? Not being on medication, being able to wake up in the morning with energy. Like, more specific the better, and even set a date, and also just get started. You know, progress is progress regardless of how slow or fast it is, and I feel like as long as you're consistent and you're coming to the gym or whatever else you have, say with like diet, you're making an effort, right? And it takes definitely at least we want to say 21 days just to make that habit. And then after that, it'll become more natural, so the hard part will be over.
Right. Well, those are certainly wonderful tips. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. That was a really good talk.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was a pleasure meeting you, and I am just really thrilled that I get to call you my colleague here with Fitness. I wish you all the best in your personal life and your future fitness goals.
Thank you so much. I would love to help you as well with your goals. It's perfect. Okay, thank you.
And that's all for today, folks. For always interesting content, stay connected. So hit like, follow, subscribe, and just don't forget to share or tag a friend who needs to hear this. I would like to invite you to visit us at Wynn Fitness Clubs, and to find the location that is nearest to you, head over to our website at wynnfitness.com. Stay strong and healthy, dear friends. Ciao.